The pie chart was moderately useful. Basically, what we learned is California and Florida have a lot more data. But if you look, I also included more cities from both of those states than any other cities. So that's not super useful. Let's look at the bar chart. So a bar chart says, rather than looking at percentages of a whole, let's compare the actual values. So let's compare, and not let's not do it by state. Let's compare it by city, so we can see what's going on at a more specific level. So I'm creating these categories. The categories are states, and the cities are the ones, or the I'm sorry, the categories are the cities, and the number of shark attacks will be the values. So I want to see what cities had how many shark attacks. So if we'll create a bar chart here, that shows the shark attacks for each city. So the first thing I need to do is I need to sum the shark attacks for each city. So I'm grouping by city, and I'm summing the shark attacks. And then what I'm also doing in this next line is I'm taking that total shark attacks by city, and I'm sorting it. And I'm saying let's show that data from the smallest number of shark attacks to the biggest number of shark attacks. And then I'm creating the figure. Okay, the figure is plotlyexpress.bar, so a bar chart. I'm using that data set that's now sorted. And then I'm saying the X and Y, X and Y. So the X is going to be city, and the shark attacks is going to be the vertical. So each bar is going to be the vertical height determined by the number of shark attacks. Okay, so it's a vertical bar chart. That's what the orientation stands for. And then I'm, again, using the city to generate the color, titling that piece or titling that chart. And then what I'm telling it is, instead of shark attacks for the label, I want to label that bar, each bar, total shark attacks, because I want people to know that I'm totaling the shark attacks for each city. Okay. Then I'm saying, let's make sure that the figure is 800 pixels high on a full-size screen. That makes sure that it's not too squishy if I shrink down the window. And then the last thing, figure.show, just shows the figure. So let's run that code and see what happens. Okay, so here is my nice looking chart. And you can see here are the city names on the bottom, total shark attacks on the side, and they're sorted from lowest to highest, Ocean City being the most dangerous place to swim, apparently, with 65 shark attacks over that 10-year period. Now, what I can do here is, if I wanted to, I can turn these off to focus on just a few. And if I do that, then all of that data is still there. I can turn them off and on and so forth. If I wanted to, I could have said, let's leave them. I got to regenerate that real quick, run that. If I wanted to, let's say I had said, 40 is kind of my cutoff. I don't really care. If we have less than 4 shark attacks a year, oh well, no big deal. So let's drop everything that's less than 40 a year, just because it's kind of just cluttering up my data. I can use the filtering, the subset selection, to filter out the data, to remove those altogether before I create the chart, or I can actually remove them manually later. So I have some options there of how I can do things. So There's one other option that I want to tell you about. And maybe I don't like this orientation. Maybe I'd like the bars to be sideways. How easy is that to create? Well, if I just change X and Y, and I change the orientation to horizontal, and I run that, boom, there it is. Okay, so maybe I like that better. I'm kind of mixed on which one I like better, but that's how easy it is to do something completely different. I could also have this color be based on something other than the city. I could have the color be based on the number of shark attacks if I wanted to. So if I come back in here and I say color, shark attacks, then it generates the color based on the number of shark attacks. Okay, so that's really easy stuff to do, but it looks outstanding, right? I mean, it's really a nice looking presentation, and it just figures it out for me. If I want to control each individual color, I can do that too. I can control whatever I want. So there's a lot of control there, but if you don't want to control everything, then just having it decide for you is really easy to do. So Plotly is a great platform for this stuff.